Man, YouTube, it's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a dope beat to step two, step two, step two, step two. Anyway, man, I'm looking rough. I'm looking scruffy. It's been a long time. We got a lot to catch up on. We got a lot to get to. Number one, I apologize 1,000 times. I should have been there for you and I wasn't, but I was trying to get to what I had to get to. Would've came back for you. That kind of vibe, you heard me? If it's your first time rocking with the boy, I be the KINGSPR 3. That be me, King Spray. Man, you locked in with the realest, they tell me. Reporting live from Savannah, Georgia. The weather they say it's about 85 degrees outside. A couple of clouds in the sky, President Mosiah. And baby, you've been waiting for that mixtape to drop. I keep promising it, but it's coming soon, I promise. And shout it, you gonna love it. So check me out. I got a lot of topics to talk about. We're gonna get back into it slowly. Let's get right into one that I just seen real recently, or very recently. Chris Brown. So they're saying Chris Brown don't like black girls. They saying Chris Brown don't let black girls in his VIP section, and this is his known thing, right? Well, number one, like the video, subscribe to the kingdom, you heard me? Number one, it's proven not to be true as far as the VIP section thing goes. Chris Brown obviously allows girls in his VIP, all type of races and ethnicities. Now, as far as dating black women, it doesn't seem like he does that, but that's his preference, is it not? We all have a preference. We all have something that we like, don't do, so on and so forth. You can't force somebody to fuck with you if they don't fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really can't. You hear me? Like, so as far as his preference goes, I don't know. I'm not him and I'm not his homeboy, but it seems to be he likes people or women that are more on the Latin side or light skin, so on and so on. Now, when it comes to women, you can find beautiful women all across the globe. You come down to Georgia and find some Georgia peaches, you heard me? You go to New York City and find that kind of Carrie Bradshaw type of girl, you heard me? You go to California, you go find you some LA girls, you heard me? You go to the Midwest and find you one of them like farmer type of girl. You go all over the country, go to Miami and find, a Latin diva. You go to Texas and find you a big stepper type of girl. You go all across the country and all across the world and find beautiful girls. White, black, Spanish, Asian, African American, persuasion, everything like that. You hear me? But you don't have to like something. Now, you shouldn't discriminate against something. If it's an equal opportunity situation, you should definitely give everybody an opportunity. But who you taking home or who you putting in your VIP section is not equal opportunity. It's what I like, especially when I'm paying for the shit. Man, I'll tell you a story. And I'm not gonna put any names in the story, but if somebody hear the story, they're gonna know who it was, and it's whatever, it doesn't matter. We out. This is back like 2012, right? Miami, LeBron on the Heat, so you know he was jumping. Now I'm not somebody that was a big stepper. I've never been a big stepper, you heard me? Size 13, but never been a big stepper, you heard me? So I had to, get in where I fit in, but I happen to know a person that was a promoter at a nice club, and every Friday this club was popping. And that night I happened to be somebody that was part of the section situation, you heard me? And we had bottles and all that stuff that comes with that, right? And this is a popping night, mind you. It's crowded. Like, it took me, and I had a connect, and it took me a while to get in. And I was at a table, and it took me a while to get in. But nevertheless, we having a good time. And I brought a +1, one of my homeboys that, at that time, at least, he wasn't really familiar with the clubbing situation in Miami. And, we all having a good time. This is back when Four Locals was still a thing to do. So you heard me? So it was like a long time ago. And back at this time, dudes were still, at least me and mine, or at least me, I guess, it was still like a thing where, like, you didn't really just walk up to a girl and say, hey, my name is, and start rapping. Like, it still was like a lot of like ploys to go with it. There still was like a lot of like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to tap her on the shoulder, then say this or whatever. You had to think about it a lot, right? So even with the tables, you still had to find ways to break the barrier and talk to the girls. So I've luckily been enough. Well, been enough. I've luckily been in a situation where when it comes to speaking to women in a club environment, I never got too real nervous about it. I think about it, but I'm not nervous to do it. I'm going to do it. And I've had a good amount of success with, courting young ladies in the club environment. My friend, let's just say we were having a good time and we were all drinking. So it's a kind of standard rule to have certain people in the VIP. Because one, you're almost advertising to the rest of the world, this is what I'm able to get. Two, because you have the bottles, it gives you a lot better opportunity to converse and build a rapport with, girls that look really good or girls that you might normally not get without this bottle service. And three, it's kind of a standard requirement. Like, yo, if you're going to have a table, don't be bringing no whack girls to this table. You hear me? So we all having a good time. My friend's like a +1. Like, he don't really even know the people whose table it is. But I'm chilling, and time passes by. We're having a good time. I turn around, I see like these girls like dancing on the table or like on the pole or something. And I'm looking at them like, who are these girls? Like, what the fuck? And let's just say the demographics of the girls were basically like Lizzos. They were like Lizzos. I'm sorry, but that's what it was. And we're not going to pretend it wasn't. So I'm looking at these Lizzos and I'm like, what? I'm like, what? But hey, I'm like, hey, I didn't bring them here. I don't know what's going on. So I step out. It ain't me. I'm not acting like I bag only the best of the best girls. Like, nah, I done dealt with all kind of women. So I wasn't too, I was just like, damn, that's a little interesting that they would be here when there's all the other girls here. But hey, whatever, to each his own. Now, what I didn't realize is that, and I kind of knew it, but I didn't know it, this ain't my section. This ain't his section. We can't just bring anybody up in here and think it's going to be all smooth. So as a result, maybe 20 minutes pass by, not even 20 minutes to be honest. I get a tap from the person's section that it was. He was like, yo, who are these girls? I was like, bro, I don't know. He was like, did your mans bring these girls up here? So I asked my friend, like, yo, my mans, did you bring these girls up here? And, he nodded his head. He was dancing with them too, so obviously I knew it already. And my homeboy was like, yo, listen. My other homeboy was like, yo, listen, they got to go. Now, I fully agreed. You wasn't going to get anything less than I agree from me. But now I got to tell this dude, these girls got to go. And then he got to tell the girls they got to go. So it's a little bit of an embarrassing situation. You get over it. You live and you learn. But at the time, it was like, yo, don't you know the protocol? Like, there's a checklist to go when you ain't the one with the table. You heard me? Like, you got to be on some, yo, you don't got to ask, but like, you should know who's supposed to be here, who's not supposed to be here. And the Lizzos, and this is way before the Lizzo movement was there. This is back when, like, this is 100% natural to not have these girls here. So back to the Chris Brown thing, you can have who you want in your section because at the end of the day, it's your section. You heard me? And that's just a little life lesson. Like, bruh, if you want to do something, you do it. There will be consequences if you're being racist or you're being prejudiced and you're not supposed to. But when it comes to socially, who you want in your area, if I have a house party and I say, I don't want such and such to come to the house party, it's my house. If I buy a section, it's my section. That's my dating preference is my dating preference. I don't have to explain it to anybody. You don't have to give everybody opportunity when it comes to dating, because trust me, they not giving you an equal opportunity. Them same girls, they got a whole bunch of dudes they don't fuck with. And they're not giving you no opportunity, you heard me? So you got to figure out what you got to figure out. Now, of course, somebody's going to be somewhere like, oh, he don't like him like women. He just like Chris Brown. He probably a woman beater too. He probably, man, shut the fuck up. Like, stop that. Stop that. Like, stop trying to put your shit of the Pookie and Ray Rays that y'all deal with on people like kings like me, you heard? Or kings like Chris Brown. I know, I'm not Chris Brown, but you get my point. Like, it's different. Like, you can have a preference. Anyway, like the video, prefer putting a comment down, subscribe to the kingdom, and it's going to all make sense real soon.